Hello, hello. Just check. Yep. Okay. Welcome in. Welcome in. I should be live here. And I'm going to help you today talking about tools. Yay. I know being a coach, a consultant, you really don't go into business to be the marketing expert in your business, but you have a message to share and lives to impact. And part of having a message to share is to be able to actually reach people. It needs to go further than your immediate circle. And that's where marketing comes in. But there's so many places that content marketing can go wrong, between just having an idea for the content to actually sharing it. Because you've got to plan it, research, create it, make it look good, actually show up in search results, or actually show up in people's news feeds, and then for people to actually want to take action on the content on the other side. So wouldn't it be easier if your content marketing had a more streamlined system to make it easier and faster? Today we're going to be talking about my 28 best free tools for content marketing that you need in 2021. Hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Stephanie Gary. I am a blog content writer and editor, helping women coaches and consultants save time by planning, creating, and updating their blog posts for them so that their content can live longer in search results to attract new clients. All that to say, I help you get the work done, generate new leads, so that you can focus in on the work, the transformation that you do with your clients more. So let's get into these free tools. I should probably actually have the window that has my notes up. Here we go. If you are with me live, drop your comments as we go. I will answer any questions that come up. But if you're on the replay, go ahead and hashtag replay, and I would love to also help you with individual tools. If I don't talk about something that you are specifically wanting help with, and you're not sure if there's a tool that exists for that thing, I can try and help you figure out what options are available for you. It is quite remarkable how much technology has advanced. You could have a computer-generated writing service. You can have a robot to do the copywriting, and so that first legwork of getting past the blank screen is already done. Now, whether that's quality work is a total other argument. But today, we're going to be talking about the tools to target your ideal clients, to research, create, organize, and share your content. If you have anything specific within that, I should be able to answer you today. But if we need to talk about a different type of tool, let me know so that I can help you. Because your content marketing can be as simple as you want it to be. And I can help you with that. All right, let's get right into it. What tools are there to help target ideal clients? And the first one is going to be Google Analytics. It actually does give you information, if you've got it all set up right, to tell you who is hanging out on your website, what their interests are, where else they might be hanging out, like what other topics are of interest, because we are multifaceted people. And if you have a large demographic that hangs out on your website, that is a lot of crossover with a different topic, you might try some ways to hold the two together in a story, in your analogies. Those are just some examples. You can find this information in Google Analytics in the audience section under demographics or interests. And that will tell you all the who it is, whether they're male or female, or if it's unidentified, what their age bracket is, where they're located, if they're close by, or if they're from another country. You can find out what other topics they might be interested in. If you are in beauty, but they are also interested in fashion, or perhaps they're also looking up something related to 1950s pinup style versus the Paris Fashion Week. So these are just some different ideas as to what you can include to make it so that your audience feels like you already know what's inside their mind, because you've got tools at your disposal to tell you what they're interested in, so that you can tie it in with your content. Next, I have Google Search Console. I love Google Search Console. That is my by far favorite tool of this whole list. You have to have Google Analytics on your website to have Google Search Console, but you don't have to have Google Search Console to have your Google Analytics. I highly recommend Google Search Console because it will tell you what people are doing on Google search results before they even get to your website. Google Analytics is for your website specifically. That's a huge difference here. Google Search Console will tell you what kind of keywords people are looking at and what's the most interesting page, blog post, landing page, the sales offer. What's the most interesting thing on your website that's showing up and that people are actually clicking through. You can see what the click-through rate is. You show up on the search result, they see your page and whether or not they click through to your page itself. And that will tell you what more to create. That will tell you if there's a specific segment of your website content, like one pillar content area is more popular than another, then you might want to lean into that one to grow it, to make it better. However, if you're wanting to make sure that you expand on this instead of potentially dropping it, you'll also figure out some ways with Google Search Console how to improve it. All that information's in there. In Google Search Console, you're going to look at the Performance tab and review the queries. That is the keywords used in the search results bar. Google Trends is our tool number 3 for targeting your ideal clients. And you can use Google Trends to look up what is recently trending all across Google. And you can actually narrow it by country. And so if you are talking about anything that is highly relevant, you can find out what specific phrases that people are already using to look up things. For example, right now, January 26th, it is the first 100 days, Joe Biden. A lot of those search terms are actually trending today. If you wanted, you could try and find a way to pull in some trending information into your own content strategy. In Google Trends, you can also use the Explore feature. You're going to search either a topic or a specific keyword phrase to find out what is going on in your specific niche. And let's see, we got related topics or related queries. Again, queries are the words used in the search bar to give you ideas as to what is already going on, whether things are trending up or trending down, or if it's just kind of a wash. And that is Google Trends. Try and figure out what people are interested in right now so that you can try and bring in the more fresh eyeballs. And then, of course, if you already have a social media presence, hello, I don't know who doesn't right now, you can use that particular social media platform's analytics. That is available on Pinterest, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of them. As long as you have a business account of some sort, you're going to have an analytics dashboard of some sort that will tell you who your audience is, when they are hanging out online, and just more information so that you can get yourself a better footing to show up in front of your people. And this is information that's all free. All of these examples here have been great ways to improve your content marketing presence to target the ideal people based on their interests, based on their demographics, based on when they're actually available to you. So next part here is we're going to talk about which tool guides you to what kind of content to include in your blog article, in your blog posts, to give you the leg up in that search results. First, it's just a Google search results page. And with that, you're going to go ahead and type in the keywords that you're going to be writing the content in and just seeing what else is already ranking. You can check out the first few search results. Depending on how thorough you want to be, you could check out the top 3 search results. You could check out the top 5. You could go the top 10 search results, so you got the whole first page. And as you start doing this more often, you might find some of your keywords that you're targeting don't even have a full 10 search results on that first page. Google's been changing things. The search results page doesn't even look the same all the time. So that would be manually going in, checking out what's in other articles, your competitors' content, seeing what headlines are showing up, therefore what topics do you need to talk about? Do you already address it? Great. Do they address something from a different angle that you haven't considered? Maybe adding that to your content. We are not ripping. We are not even looking to paraphrase. We are just making sure that we cover the basics of what this particular piece of content would need to have so that yours might be proven more valuable than what's already currently ranking. However, if you don't want to do that manually, and you're not even at the point of having someone specifically researching these kinds of things, then perhaps I can offer you a tool. This is a pretty low costing tool. It's called Phrase. I use it. It's F-R-I-A-S-E. And it will review the the headlines of the top up to 20 search results. That's 2 pages, roughly, of search results that it goes through, and it gives you an idea of what kind of content's already out there and how you can make your content better without giving you potential for altering your own content before you even create it. So I'm a strong believer in creating before you consume. That means, although I'm researching before I'm writing, I am not reading the other articles before I've written mine. And with that tool, it allows me to make sure that I don't accidentally rip anyone else's ideas off because I saw something, forgot about it, and then use that same thing, whether it be an analogy or another story, an example to drive a point home. There's many different ways that you could accidentally rip someone's ideas. That's why I like doing the research with a tool like Phrase. Another idea is using Ubersuggest or a few other keyword research tools. And in Ubersuggest specifically, they have their own website. It is free for a certain amount of searches, but you do have a paid upgrade option on there. And for figuring out what kind of content to include, they have under your keyword analyzer section, you do enter in your own keyword that you're targeting for this particular piece. Underneath the keyword overview, so you're going to continue scrolling down the page, there are 2 sections to pay attention to. One is the keywords ideas. So if there's something that's remarkably similar, basically the same topic, great. You're going to look in the questions tab. That is where I find a lot of particular phrases to use in the content. either as a header or at least as a way to keep the reader reading down the page, then that's going to be great content to include. It's much more human-like to have questions actually written in the content, even if it's questions written in the way that your reader might be asking you that question. The second part of the keywords overview results page is the content ideas. It's further down the page, and that shows you what other content's already ranking really well, what their headline or what their title is, what kind of click-through rates they have, how many websites link to that piece of content, how well it's sharing on Facebook and Pinterest, and just overall like how valuable this piece of content is perceived based on a few different metrics. And that will help you determine whether or not you need to add a little bit more to your own content than you already have at this point. And then I will go ahead and add one more for what to include in your content, actually focused on your headline. Your headline analyzer tool from CoSchedule is free, and you can go in and practice writing your headline, and they have all sorts of information about what type of headline converts best based on statistics and data, and like why different words work better than others. It's a very in-depth tool, but it is great for simply practicing. And then as you start getting used to writing your own headlines, you can notice that it applies in a lot of other content. It's not just for the blog post headline. It could work great for that hook line, the first sentence of your social media post that's supposed to stop someone scrolling. When you keep practicing on there, you'll get a better grade. 70 and above is supposed to be that green light, like it's a great score. I don't think I've ever seen anyone ever get the 100, but it is a scale of 0 to 100. And I've purposely tried to get it as bad as possible, and I don't think I've seen anything lower than in the 40s. So roughly the expectation is your score, no matter how good or bad you feel that you are with the headlines, your score will be somewhere in the 40s to 80s. That's what I see having existed. Now clearly the higher the better. But it is a great tool to help you practice getting better content with different factors, because it's not just about writing for the SEO, making sure that the right keywords are used at the very beginning of the sentence, because that's what a plugin told you. And you're wanting to get that green light from that particular plugin that you use. Okay, it's more complicated than that. Next set of tools I have here are for the tools that help you create high quality content. This is, again, among my favorite section. And the first one you are probably familiar with already is your Google Docs. Yeah, Google Docs already has a few tools that you can integrate into it. It's got that voice typing, which is under the tools. I think it may be voice typing or maybe speech typing. That tool will help you talk out what you're saying, even if you happen to be on a live stream at the same time that it is running. That can be capturing your words onto text. Another way to use Google Docs would be in a few of the add-on tools. Under the add-ons drop-down menu, you can get add-ons and then search up different types of tools. There are grammar check, spell check tools. You can even do search engine optimization tools. There's surveys, there's forms, there's equation writing. I mean, there's all sorts of different types of tools. And if you're looking for something specific, you could take a look in there. But it's all available inside Google Docs. And I love having tools consolidated. So in addition to that, if you use Google Docs and you copy and paste it to whatever platform you're using the content itself on, it would be best to use an HTML cleaner. The one I use is html-cleaner.com. And it essentially is just you copy from the Google Docs, paste it into the HTML cleaner, hit the cleanup button, copy the cleaned up version, and paste it into the interface, whether that is on a social media channel, it could be in WordPress, it could be on a totally different platform that I'm not thinking of at this moment. But it takes out that invisible coding that's in the Word document that would ultimately slow down over a long period of time that website load speed. And I highly recommend using that when you're copying and pasting for your own website. One off, it may not matter. If you have a few hundred posts already right now, you may or may not notice a difference. It is not worth going back and cleaning that. But moving forward, keep in mind, the more code you have, the slower things will load. General rule of thumb. Clean up the HTML, and that will help keep your site loading fast. The next 3 tools I'm going to list here are closely related. There is the Grammarly app, which can be a Chrome extension. It can be a website web application, or it could be like an add-on, for example, on Google Docs. It exists, it's an option. The next one is the Pro Writing Aid. That is, again, a option for an extension. It could be in a web app, or it could be an add-on, for example, in Google Docs. So you will have that option to use there. And then Hemingway Editor, I have only used it as a web app. I have not noticed if there is another way to use it. So I'm going to leave it at that for that tool. But those 3 have free options and then some paid upgrades. What they do is grammar check, spell check. There's a reading comprehension level. So like it gives you a grade for what difficulty your piece of content is to read. Because a magazine reading level is going to be different than a college thesis reading level. And if you're using a lot of big complicated words, if you've got really long sentences all over the place, you could simplify those sentences down, use simpler word alternatives, and those tools have been very helpful. In addition, Pro Writing Aid specifically has a plagiarism checker. Make sure you're not accidentally ripping someone else off as far as the ideas that you might have had. While no idea is ever truly original, having never been thought of by anyone ever before on this planet out of the 7+ billion people here, you still have a certain amount that you want to make sure that you are unique, that you're not showing up and like looking like you are copying someone else's content directly. So that specifically will help you if you do manually research the top posts on search results and then write your content. And that's just an option to make sure that it is where you are at with your team. And let's see, looks my next tools here for quality content is going to be related to not just writing, because content isn't only words. There's also images. I like Canva. There's also PicMonkey. There's a few other tools. You could do Photoshop, Adobe. There's other options clearly. But if you wanted to get the most bang for your buck, I really think Canva is an industry standard tool for a reason. Create great images. There's already templates available. You have a lot of options with colors and fonts and animations and changing up the effects that are on the page. There's a lot of tutorials that are out there available with Canva itself, and then other providers help you out as well to make visually pleasing graphic designs, pictures, etc. In addition to that is also videos. And in video is a platform that helps with templates. There's a such thing as templates for videos. You can use that to help shorten the time it takes for you to edit your videos. And having stock videos available to add some interest and intrigue into the overall flow of the video helps. Because let's be honest, no one likes to stare at the same thing the whole way through if it's not that interesting. And then finally, in this section is Audacity. I love this. It's a free tool. It just records your voice. You can use a lot of different things with this. Like a podcast could work with that if you want to host it on your blog article. That way it integrates the audio and the written. And so you have a lot of options there. All right, the next section I have as far as the tools are organizing your marketing content. And I like to use Google Drive. It works if you are a team of 1, and it works if you are a team of 20. So if you are trying to keep everything organized, it helps having folders and subfolders labeled, clear. You understand exactly what's going on with all of the content. In addition to that, having spreadsheets to understand all the different parts of different things. You can have different sheets in a whole spreadsheet collection to house the content calendar. It can hold schedules. It can explain your writing guide. It can explain some the overall flow of what is expected in your content marketing. Perhaps it is a hierarchy chart. There's just so much you can do with a spreadsheet that having Google Sheets as a free tool helps, because it's not just limited to one person. You can share it with whomever needs to have access to it by the Google Share feature. In addition to the spreadsheets is also the documents. You can have all of your content housed in Google Drive as a backup to whatever content management system you're using. And so when you need to make a search for a particular type of content, you can then search and see all the different types of documents and spreadsheets that actually pull up because they are answering your search query within Google Drive itself. And hello, that makes things easier to repurpose your content. Hey, saving time. My favorite website content management platform is actually WordPress. Now, this is a gray area because it is free itself, but it's not free until you get certain things lined up. But with WordPress, you can keep things organized, not just with everything's published. There's actually a possibility for a content calendar being housed inside WordPress itself. You'd go to the the WordPress plugins, add new, and then just search content calendar. There's a lot of different options that are available. Find one that works for you, and then that would be what you do. And then you can use the drafts to go ahead and get started on a few of them. It is recommended you don't have any more than 5 drafts at a time on your website, otherwise you're just kind of bogging things down on the back end. So no, don't have 20 drafts saved at various different content creation stages. Focus on a few at a time so that you can actually get them published, so that they're bringing you value to your website. And then there's task managers. You can use your content calendars, organization system, your brain dumps, however you want to process your content ideas in a task manager. And that includes Trello, Asana, ClickUp, Notion, Medium. There's so many other options that are out there. And if you are a team of 1 or leading a team of 20, you can find options that will work for you and how best you work with communicating with each other. Trello, Asana, pretty big names. You could look them up. ClickUp and Notion, I believe, are the newest players to the game here in the online entrepreneur space. So if you have any questions about any of these specifically, go ahead and let me know. I can go ahead and do a follow-up with you and making sure that you understand how you could use these things. Let's see. Our last section here is in the tools that you can distribute content with. You can, but I don't know if you've paid for Canva before, but if you wanted to, you could actually publish content directly from Canva. That is an option. If it's a Pinterest image, if it's a infographic, it could make sense for you to do it that way. That is up to you. If you would rather have another scheduling tool to be able to use to actually house the content in and then publish at a later time, you can use either a native tool such as Facebook Creator Studio that works for both Instagram and Facebook. You can schedule your content in there. That will have your images. You can customize it, and you can share it from one post to both platforms. You could also use the Hootsuite tool. There is an option for free and a paid upgrade plan where you can schedule content to publish at a later time. And then finally, our last tool of the night is going to be StreamYard. If you've not noticed, I have been using StreamYard. It is right here. And I like to use this one because it is helping me broadcast my live streams to multiple places, or up to like 3 places, I think it says. And if I wanted to do LinkedIn, Facebook, and Facebook group, Facebook personal, Facebook page, like all those places are already integrated in the StreamYard application so that I can produce content that way. And it is another one of those tools that has a free and a paid upgrade plan. You will find as you are creating more content that having the ability to level up in these same tools actually makes it easier, but free is not always the best. Sometimes you need to go ahead and invest in the tools so that you have all the features that you need, because it would be much easier to start in a platform that gives you the flexibility for what it is that you need now instead of later. One example of that would be deciding if one email platform is better to have because it does or does not have a tagging feature for existing subscribers, right? There's going to be a lot of different scenarios based on what your unique needs are and like what situation you're seeing your business growing into in the future. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know, drop a comment. I will be following back up with you and making sure that you are taken care of, because I want to make sure that you have the tools that you need at your disposal to make sure that your content marketing is as simple as you want it, because it can be easy and fast to go ahead and go from ideas to distributing your content. Go ahead and let me know if you want to book a discovery call as well for learning how to save time by planning, creating, and updating your blog posts so that I can help you create your content to live longer in search results to attract more of your clients to you. That is going to be at www.stephaniegary.com/breakthrough. Go ahead and answer a few questions, and it'll take you straight over to my scheduler so that you can actually book a call with me to get going and taking action on your content marketing needs. And I will make sure that you are taken care of. I will catch you on the next time.